Welcome back to the Habits Kitchen, where I explore and experiment with ingredients, foods and ideas. Hi, I'm Dr. Chan, the Habits Doctor. Today I'm thinking about making myself a hearty soup, simple soup. I like to keep things simple, and because my family members, half the family members are meat eaters and the other half are not meat eaters, so whenever I cook a vegetable dish, I try to make it 100% meatless, right? So this is a meatless soup version. I've not done this before. I'm going to put it together. I think it should come up quite well. Okay, these are the ingredients that I have in my fridge, right? Now, right, with COVID-19 pandemic and most of us are staying home, and we do not always have all the ingredients that we need for any standard recipes. So now is a wonderful time for us to explore, experiment with whatever ingredients that we have and put them together, and yet still have a hearty, simple and yet yummy meal. Okay, so let's try. Let's see how it goes. These are the ingredients that I have that I intend to use, right? I have mushrooms, right? This is shiitake mushroom, fresh shiitake mushrooms. The dried shiitake mushroom would probably give an even stronger, better flavor, but I didn't have the time to soak them, and I'm hungry, right? So I'm using fresh shiitake mushroom. I have cauliflower. I always have cauliflower, broccoli in my fridge, and there you go. Then I have baby spinach, salad greens, which I also always have in my fridge. But the problem with salad greens like baby spinach is that it's quite perishable and it doesn't keep that well, only for a few days. So often when you want it, you don't have it. When you have the salad greens in your fridge, the meals for the day doesn't quite call for it. So I'm always quite adventurous in putting especially those salad greens like baby spinach that are about to spoil, and I'll put it in my various meals or soups that I'm cooking. So here it goes, right? Mushroom, shiitake, fresh shiitake mushrooms, cauliflower, baby spinach, lentils. I love lentils. This is pink lentils, and miso and tofu. Okay, I should be able to cook this in 10 minutes, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it should go quite well. So I'm just going to throw everything in at the same time, except the baby spinach, which I will put only at the end. All these are pre-washed, right? So mushrooms, there's no standard amounts that you should use, right? The only guidance is that don't waste food. Whatever you have in the fridge, try to think of a way to use it. Simply cut it to slices. You string, right? This one is a bit big, right? So probably cut in half. What I have in mind is something that is almost like a slightly thicker soup, a little bit like a stew, a bit gooey, has very comforting. But I do not like to use cornstarch in my food, right, or any kind of starch thickener, right, but yet I'm still imagining this dish to be, right, a little bit thicker. I can do that by adding some other ingredients and not the cornstarch. Okay, done. Okay, just dump it in, yeah. So dump it in. Okay, next, cauliflower. Okay, so that's quite a lot of cauliflower. I think I'm going to cut it small, right? Because what I have in mind is something similar to hot and sour soup, the 酸辣汤. So the pieces cannot be too chunky. No, you almost can use a spoon, right? And every scoop it has all the different ingredients in a single spoon. Yeah. So cut this into much smaller pieces. Yeah. And starting from, and break them apart. Yeah. Just okay. This is we are not running a restaurant, so it's okay. Just very quickly, roughly cut them into small pieces. And I want this to be soft. Now, usually I like my cauliflower to still retain the texture, the crunch. Okay, but in this instance, I think I would like it to be, a lot softer, so that you can almost like soon you can even swallow it whole. Every spoon, because it's so smooth and so it's like 酸辣汤. The only difference is that I'm not going to use chili oil. I'm not going to use quite a number of things, but it's a 酸辣汤 hot and sour soup concept. So make sure that they're chunky pieces. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, I think that's quite enough. About the same amount of mushroom and cauliflower. Okay, all right. This is lentils. Pink lentils. I think you lend to the soup a sweetness, right? That will be going to be quite interesting. Yeah, this sweetness. Yeah, I can put any amount, but I like lots of them. Because it's a pink lentils and they tend to be quite small, and after a while they probably melt into it. They could hardly find it and make the soup a little bit thicker and sweet. Oh, I think it's going to be nice. Right, so water, you can always start just enough to cover, right, all the different vegetables, the mushrooms and the lentils, right, and you can always add more later. Okay, then of course miso. Okay, maybe about a tablespoon of miso. Okay, just and bring it to boil, and boil the whole thing for about 6 minutes, right, and then you can test it, and then we'll see how. Okay, let's wait for 6 minutes. If I'm using a small pot, I tend not to cover it so that it will not boil over, right, so that I can go and do my other stuff or clean the kitchen, even as I wait for it to come to boil for 6 minutes. Yeah. Okay, right, so while waiting for this to boil, I can always prepare the tofu. This is just any of those tofu that's suitable, right, for making soup. Right, so this is the silken tofu. So just any tofu. Okay. Yep. Again, like the cauliflower that I use, cut into very small pieces. So I think I would want to cut the tofu into tiny cubes as well, right? So that as I drink of it, a little bit like 酸辣汤. Yeah. So let's do it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So add it to it, right, later once it's boiled. Again, this is not a recipe that from a family recipe or from some traditional recipes that from different countries. This is just something that I thought of putting together, something simple, and that's the way I like to cook, especially at home. When I was cooking at my restaurant, I think that's different. When I'm cooking at home, my focus is to have the ingredients that I want, right? And keeping it simple yet hearty and delicious. So this is what I think. I'm quite excited, you know, kanchong, you know, right? To see the final outcome of this. Yeah. So you can see, right? It comes to boil another minute. Right? You can test it and see. Okay, this is about 5-6 minutes. Okay, I'll keep it to boil. I think it's quite well done. Right, and then I'll add the tofu in. You see, I was cutting it in small cubes. Okay, so the sequence of the putting in the ingredients, I first put in the mushrooms, the cauliflower, the lentils, and just boil it for about 6 minutes. And then after that, I added in the tofu. Okay, and the leafy greens, can be any leafy greens. Right, I'll add it last me for a minute or two. Okay, just bring down the heat. Okay, so switch it off for a while, and then see a bit almost like suan la tang kind of thickness, you know. Right, you can see the lentils is almost like melted into the soup. Yums. Okay, let me try not just the flavor of the soup, but also the texture, especially of the cauliflower. Good. I think that's nice, right? I think can add a little bit more water. Okay, and then I bring that to boil. Okay, the last part, adding in any kind of leafy greens. As I said, it's not because it goes in this standard recipe. It's just what I happen to have. All right, I think it'll go quite well. Okay, so especially salad greens, they tend to not keep well. So this is a good way to use it up before it turns bad. So it doesn't need a lot of time for the leafy green baby spinach to be cooked. So it's done in under 10 minutes. As I mentioned, this idea that I have was like, okay, making something like a suan la tang hot and sour soup. So hot and sour soup tend to be thicker. You know, they put cornstarch or some kind of thickener. But I usually do not like. I don't even have cornstarch at home. All right, so I use lentils. I'll give it the sweetness and give it make the soup a bit thicker. Okay, so let's try. See, okay. Yum, that's good. Ingredient. You can see the lentils. Right, you can only see. I put quite a lot of lentils in there, but most of them have melted right into the soup. You know, making it thick and sweet. Okay, but you still see some of the lentils that's still intact. Okay, let's try. Hot. Good. Good. But very hearty, you know, flavorful, and I like the texture. Continuing along the suan la tang idea, you know, suan la tang you cannot not have vinegar. So let's put some vinegar and see how it tastes. I like lots and lots of vinegar. Yeah. Okay, put vinegar and white pepper. Okay, I like lots of white pepper. Okay, and white pepper. Okay, lots of white pepper. Yum. I'm a vinegar pepper kind of person. So this is a suan la tang. Okay. Once you put a familiar flavor like this Chinese vinegar, okay, which is quite commonly used in suan la tang hot and sour soup, right? This does give me that comforting, familiar taste of suan la tang that I like, and yet with whatever I have in the fridge, yeah. Very good. It actually turned out even better than I had imagined it. At the beginning, before I started, I was quite confident that it would turn out well because of the strong flavors, the sweetness of the lentils, and I was intending to put vinegar and pepper, and to me, once you put all these things together, won't go wrong. Sure turned out to be at least quite nice, right? But they're not even better than I had imagined it. Okay, so go try, have fun. You can always add meat, add chicken, as I mentioned, at home when I'm cooking. Once I try to cook a vegetable dish that is always meatless, and if there's and I cook meat for the meat eaters and family. So enjoy this, yeah.